All right, welcome everybody to the RETR Morning Show. Super excited to be here. Coming to you live from Oregon, Gearhart, Oregon. I don't know if you've ever been there, but man, this is a really cool place. It's called Seaside. And so having a little vacay with the fam, doing some hiking, hanging out. But today, I'm super excited to have a friend with me on the call who's also doing some really cool stuff that I'm excited. I'd rather talk about what we talked about in the green room, Kai, like the what the rental stuff and
Yeah,
where
right.
you're at and why you're doing it. That's a pretty fun topic. But man, thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you getting up, and I know you guys are getting ready to turn on is it number 5 rental?
Yep, it's on. It's turned
Awesome, man.
on. We're
Awesome.
up
It's
here
turned
spending
on.
some time.
All right, dude. So without further ado, Kai Colberg has been a man. We've been connected for what? At least what, 10 years now? 10? Like somewhere in there. Long time. Long
Like
time.
five, just
Five?
about.
5 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
five.
5 years. Yeah. So Kai's here. He wanted to talk about how he's crushing it, doing some like going back to the basics. Would that be fair enough, Kai? Well, I'll let you take it away. Let's introduce yourself and let's get this party started, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott, for having me on. I just have a quick, simple presentation here. I'm not sharing this with you guys to say this is what you should do. I am sharing it just to show you what I'm doing, and it's really just about systems and processes and just making our lives a bit easier in this hectic business that we are all in. So
Amen, man.
I'm going to
Amen.
share my screen. Scott, I think you have, can everybody see my screen here?
Yes,
It's
sir.
popping up.
There we go. Got it,
All,
man. Awesome.
all right. Can you still see it in full screen?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. My name is Kai Colberg. I am with Go Rascal. We are a mortgage broker based out of Brooklyn, New York. We're licensed in, I want to say, 44 states. I'm my home base is New York as well. I'm about an hour and a half north of New York City in the Hudson Valley. And this is my Instagram. If anybody wants to follow you, I'm trying to ramp it up, posting content. So hopefully you can get some golden nuggets there, replicate it, pull anything from my page, make it your own, do the whole thing. So, all right, let's dive right into it.
Let's do it, man.
This is why I focus on systems and processes, right? Efficiency, do more in less time. If we made a list of everything that we do in this business, it's pretty long. So if we can streamline any or all of those items, we can handle more and in turn do more volume, right? I'm a big fan of the sweat method, doing things the same way every time so we can scale and not feel all mumble jumbled in our head of, the hecticness like we spoke about before,
Yeah.
and ultimately scalability, right? I my whole thing with this is if we see another refi boom, like I
hmm
don't want to miss one of those because I can't
hmm
handle the capacity, right? Right now, I want to run my business like it would run if my volume doubled tomorrow and not, feel the stress that comes with that. Um, Another reason why we need to hone in on our systems and processes is just the ability to stay focused and live by your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, don't do it, and set those boundaries for yourself as far as your quality of life, and making sure that we don't burn out like a lot of people do in this industry. So I guess I'll just start with how what my system and process is. So when I get a new lead from majority real estate agents, probably 75 to 80% of my business comes from real estate agents. I have a quick intro call letting them know the next steps. I do have an answering service. It's called Voice Nation. They are scripted to set a call in my calendar
Yeah.
for an intro call. Look, it's expensive.
Love
It's
it.
like $400 a month, but my whole idea is we all know that those clients, if you don't pick up the phone right away, they're just going to call the next lender, right? So if I can at least
Amen.
have somebody book in my calendar if I'm not available, if I can save one deal a year, sure, that's fine. That's how I look at it. Um, my intro call is very simple. I get on the phone. The first thing I ask is, how did you meet so and so agent? A lot of my agents pay for marketing. So a lot of them say, I got paired up with them online. And I just say, hey, look, you kind of never really know who you're going to get online, right? So I just wanted to give you that reassurance that if I were to purchase a home today, there's a good chance that I would call Christian from eXp Realty because He's a local rock star. They even have a lot of, off market opportunities that you can get dibs on first. I just wanted to give you the good word on that you're with the right team here. I'm their preferred lender. So you really have the competitive advantage in this market. And I want to let you know you're with an awesome agent. So
Mm.
just so you know, and the feedback that I get back from that, a lot of people just say, thanks. I love to hear that because you're right. I got paired up. I want to see this house, and I don't really know, who I'm getting myself in, who I'm communicating with here. So, all of our agent partners, they've got their own scripts, right, to make a client work for them. But I like that loyalty uplift, and it's really mainly to let the agents know that I do that upfront, right?
Kai, I
So
got a question for you on
yep.
that. Do you use that as part of your relationship builder when you first say, "Hey, here's," is this your kind of your presentation when somewhat when you meet a new agent
Yes,
to let them know
100%.
what you do? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I
That's
just
awesome.
say my main focus is to have that client never even consider calling another real estate agent. And
Love it.
they
Love it.
appreciate that. And hopefully now that they won't, refer three names
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they'll just refer me. Right.
Yeah.
So I give them these simple next steps, right? So here's the three simple steps. You're going to get an email from me. There's going to be three simple steps. One is to complete the application. Two is to upload your documents, mainly income documents for now. And there's going to be a task item there to complete the credit link. Okay. So we collect payment for credit upfront. You're going to see a link to pay for in there. The last step is just to set a time in my calendar for a loan consultation so we can come up with a clear and concise plan. Is there any reason why you can't complete this within the next 24 hours? We'll kind of dive into the script here. While I'm on that call, I've just got, a bookmark on my homepage on my computer, or it's on my homepage on my phone, just a simple Google form, right? So I fill out first name, last name, phone number, email. I let them know, right when we get off the call, you'll get an email from me in the next few minutes here. This purchase or refinance, oh, sorry, this purchase or refinance tab here, that just depends on, by choosing that, it changes the script for the type of email that they get. These are my sources, right? Where it came from: Realtor, past client referral, current client referral, past client, personal friend, business referral, like an attorney, or like an ad, like I got it from Facebook or something. Who referred? And if I put the agent's email in here, they'll get an email letting them know, that I've made contact with them and what their next steps are, and they'll get a copy of my notes in here. So I'll just share any notes, if the client wants to dive a little deeper into that first intro call, but those intro calls really only last 5 to 10 minutes. I'll just take some notes here and what kind of credit we're doing. So this is mainly for my virtual assistant to follow up with and reissue credit. So if I check Kai pays for a hard pull, he'll know to just put it on my credit card. If it just says soft pull AUS, that means that, I was scripted to have prompt them to complete the payment link. Free pull. I could do like a free credit check with UWM, for example. So this really is just for my virtual assistant to know how to follow up. So we have all the information that we said that we were going to have for our loan consultation. So this is what happens from that Google form. And I don't want to get too
Mm,
far in the weeds with this, but this is what, my VA set up. It creates a new row in a Google sheet, adds my client to MailChimp, just so I'm keeping track of everybody if I want to do, marketing or send out newsletters or mailers or whatever. It
love
goes
it.
into MailChimp, comes in, creates a item in Monday.com, which is the CRM that I use. And then there's different paths. If I chose a refinance, it sends the refi email. If I choose a purchase, it'll send the purchase email and then also send an email if I added an email address into that agent email section, just to give them an update with the notes. So this is Monday.com. This is how I use it. My leads all go into one spot. There's different stages. And why I share this is there's these two columns here. This is credit repair, right next to the lead
Mm,
stage, credit repair, and letter friend. Okay. I use a company called Letter Friend, and I'll dive right into that. When I check these boxes, certain things happen through Zapier. If I check this credit repair box, my preferred credit repair company will get an email with the client's information and they know to reach out. So I just
wow.
want to like make things like
Wow.
this like super simple. Just click a button and they get sent to credit repair. I don't want to type up an email introducing anybody. Like just click and go. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This letter friend checklist, if I pre-approve somebody and they're in the beginning stages of shopping, they'll get an actual, not like a robot handwritten card. They'll get an actual handwritten card with this script with a $5 Starbucks gift card if there's one borrower on the phone.
Wow.
$10 worth of Starbucks gift cards if there's two borrowers on the phone, just congratulating them that they're pre-approved for their mortgage. Enjoy a coffee on me on the way to your next showing with your agent. My team
Wow.
and I are here. So if I can just, at my discretion, when I'm pre-approving somebody, I can just choose to shoot that out, right?
And
um
who does your handwritten? I know somebody's going to ask that. Nobody is, but who's doing your handwritten for you?
It's with a company called Letter Friend. They're
Okay.
out of New
Okay, you're going to
Jersey,
talk
and
about that. Okay.
I'm in the Hudson Valley in New York, so they get them very quickly. There's national companies, but I would try to look for a company if you guys want to implement this, maybe a lot, closer to where you do the majority of your business, just so there's not too much of a delay with them getting this. They'll get it in about 5 days.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Love it.
and this is the email that gets sent to them automatically when I complete that form. So I'm just reiterating, hey, you're going to see the next steps in the email, but we'll run through it real quick. Step one, complete the link. This is just my arrive link. Step two, upload the docs. Step three, set a time in my calendar for a loan consultation. Ask for the business at the end. Why not? Um,
Brilliant.
so, and then this is my calendar. They'll just book a 30-minute loan consultation in my calendar. This is the pre-approval that gets sent out. This is our pre-approval template. I've got a mortgage do's and don'ts list in there and just some bullet items. You're qualified in the price range. If you weren't, they wouldn't have a pre-approval with my name on it as a loan officer. Here to close on time, stay in constant communication. After they get an accepted offer, my team sets an accepted offer consultation where we'll really dive into the details with the numbers with that house and the upcoming transaction that we have. I have some time, so I'm in New York. We're an attorney state. It takes attorneys like 2 weeks to even get contracts for us, so it's kind of easy. This is just how I do it, just because I have time. We set this accepted offer consultation ideally after the home inspection, and they know that they're moving forward. These are what my pre-approvals look like. We're actually revising this to just make it more color coded, but at the end of my pre-approvals, this is what we're starting to implement. I used to have this, but I don't have
That's
them on my
nice. Love
current
it.
pre-approvals. We're just going to do agent testimonials at the end and client testimonials. I take the offer phase very serious in my business, and my agents know this, and so do my clients. That's part of my pitch of having the competitive advantage is when you make an offer, I drop what I'm doing, pick up the phone and call the listing agent and
Mm,
vet to them your qualification, our promise to close on time, stay in constant communication, and to just follow up. I let them know that, I come from the underwriting side of the business. I pride myself in the validity of our pre-approvals, and our average clear to close time in New York is 21 days. Um, Seller selling their house, they want their money, right? So this is
right.
our pitch to the listing agent. We've got a great reputation in the area, so chances are I know the listing agents in my hyper local market. In a super competitive scenario, we'll send out this like seller note, just kind of reiterating what I let the listing agent know,
Mm.
just to maybe have something in writing when they're sharing these offers with their sellers, instead of banking on them to reiterate what I told them. Maybe they'll just see something in writing here. Okay. So
So that
that's
goes with the
our
approval letter email to the listing agent.
yes.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
only in competitive scenarios, like I'll have my VA revise this. I'll just shoot him a Slack message and say, "Hey, send this to the offer that just went out," and he'll just shoot it over. We don't do it all the time just because it can be a little tedious. I'd like to find a way to automate this, but for now, we just do it in very competitive situations.
Very cool.
My VA also holds me accountable to completing this closing form when a deal is closed. So I just fill it out, who the client was, who the lender was, buyer gift. So like if it was a UWM loan, I would say, order a memory maker, send them a cutting board. So I get my, UWM points. Review text sent. This is just a reminder for me to either call or text the client, asking them to leave me a review. Agent gifts. If I want to, have my VA order a gift for the agent or send them a letter friend card. So I'll do like
Wow.
handwritten cards to the client and the agents after closing too. And then in my system under my funded loans, like Troy sent my VA's name is Troy. He'll mark this as sent, and if I completed it, he'll know to hop in and actually send this stuff out, right?
Very cool. Yeah.
So this just makes sure that I'm doing this on every closing, and I don't miss any of them. So that's our post closing process. One thing that I'm implementing here, I'm making a script book where I'm hiring. I actually have somebody starting tomorrow, a front end loan partner, who's going to be more of like a pre-approval specialist. I'm making a full script book. My intro, how I handle my intro calls. I'm going to create a script on letting my referral partners know about my new front end loan partner, that I'm not going to be the face of the first point of contact my team is, right? So I'm creating that script, how I handle my loan consultations, and also my Loom. I'm sending out Loom videos for disclosures. So once disclosures go out, I send a Loom video. We found out, instead of calling the client and walking them through it and just having a ton of questions, we have everything covered in a Loom video that they watch, and we've just really compiled a list of all of like the objections that people might get on their initial disclosures. And we realize that we just don't have any questions after we cover
Wow.
every line item in a Loom video, because they'll actually just
Mm.
sit there, watch the whole thing, and at the end they realize that, hey, all of my questions were answered. Great. Okay,
Wow.
I'll e-sign, right? So a call to listing agent for the offer phase. We're kind of just creating like an AI script book of everything, just so if I'm not available, my team can plug in and know exactly what the script is. And we're going to start to implement a midweek survey.
Love it.
So I'll kind of dive into that in a little bit, but I use something called
Midweek or
Claude.
mid loan? Midweek or mid loan?
Uh, Midweek, mid
Mid.
loan. So
Okay. Okay.
we're gonna be checking in with our, this is gonna be like our Tuesday update calls, just confirming with the client, hey, are we on track for a 5-star review? Let us know
Love
if
it.
if we're not, how we can fix it, right? So one thing I do with Claude is I record everything with this little tool called Claude, if you guys want to look it up online. And instead of worrying about like taking notes on a loan consult, I just record my loan consultation, let the client know, and I text them the notes and also the agent in some scenarios, and I just shoot it over to my VA via Slack, and he'll upload it to the file.
Hmm.
So my whole team knows and it's like not one thing was missed. Like
Right.
here's your whole consultation, and it generates an AI summary, which is like the most efficient thing that I've really implemented recently, because before this, there was so much lost in translation when passing the baton to your team. And when we get off the call, nobody wants to type in notes to arrive or transfer your paper file to notes to update your team on what happened, right?
Yeah.
So this has been huge for me. I love Plod. I just keep it right on my desk, or it attaches to your phone. So
Very
I
cool.
went to Go Coaching's big event in Phoenix. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I got the juices flowing again. I'm gonna probably be I'm probably gonna do the 12-week year. That's worked really well for me in the past as far as implementation goes. But this is I'm just gonna do, implement one thing each week for about the next 9 weeks. And I'm creating a script book. I am revising my Zoom presentation to agents. I'm bringing on my front end loan partner tomorrow. She's fully onboarded today, but we're diving into our training program tomorrow, so I can be freed up to go prospect. I haven't prospected in quite a few months, and we've got the volume to justify the new loan partner, and I really just want to double down on this. So I'm going to have that Zoom presentation. I'm going to revise my agent presentation. Next one is I'm going to hop on that RETR subscription, Scott. And
Yes, sir.
I'm making a list of all the qualified agents in my area, and I'm just going to have my VA follow about 10 agents a day on Instagram, and simply
Very
just
nice.
DM them and just say, hey, I like your page, so I wanted to follow. Like, I'm not pitching them anything. I just want to connect. I just want to get into their algorithm so they start to see what I'm posting. The next one is list agent and buyer's agent review. So I'm actually, I used to get so much business, and I still do, from listing agents on a transaction that I handled well. This is a reminder. I got reminded that I'm going back and I'm going to start doing that again. And after every closed deal, I'm just gonna write a nice note to the listing agent and drop them a snippet of the Google review I just left them. And
Great
really
idea.
just tee
Great
that
idea.
up with a Zoom call or a call for coffee, or if they're local. The next one is that, midweek survey tracker. We're gonna do that script. I'm gonna have my or pipeline manager, front end LOA, just check in, make sure we're on track for a 5-star review. Next one is my morning campaign. So a lot of people don't love email marketing because people unsubscribe. They feel like it's not, as beneficial as picking up the phone, but I truly think that it is your highest return on time. I have been putting so many people into MailChimp these past 7 years. I have thousands and thousands of people in there. Just spend 10 minutes, throw 5 new mortgage articles into ChatGPT, summarize it, and blast it out to 5,000 people on Monday mornings. Why not?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna plug that in. I'm gonna have Troy. We're revising my pre-approvals to include, the agent testimonials, client testimonials, annual review. I'm not doing annual reviews, so I'm gonna implement that on the closing form. I'm gonna just set that call with the client when I call them and ask them for a review a year from now. Just set it and forget it. And yeah, the last thing is I'm gonna have my LOA just send me my tracking numbers. I'm going to be keeping track of 5 things: new leads, credit reports pulled, pre-approvals, contracts, and closings, 5 different metrics. And I found out that I need 15, based on my current conversion, I need about 15 leads a week to hit my goal of closing 62.5 million in the next 12 months starting in June.
Love it.
So that's what I'm implementing. Look, this is kind of just a recap of why we do this, right? Submit the loan, delegate all the other work to your team, um, close the loan and repeat the sweat method. Like, I want to show up every day and do the same thing every day without needing to think of what I'm going to be doing. Any day that we show up questioning what we're going to be doing, we know we're going to
Mm.
be inefficient
Mm.
that day.
Mm.
So, um, that's our whole goal with this. Another little thing that has helped me is there's something called text replacement. So if you type in like XYZ credit X and you add this credit explanation, it'll automatically put this text in here instead of XYZ credit X. Like, for example, right? So if I'm, texting with a client they can't pick up and they're asking me about the credit policy, like I can, this is my credit script. We
Oh, I
collect
got it.
payment for credit up front. It's $56 per person. It's a soft check, meaning there's no impact to your credit score and it doesn't show as an inquiry. As a mortgage broker working with over 90 different lenders, this one report allows us to fully assess your qualification and shop your loan across the market without running your credit multiple times. So feel free to read that if you'd like, but if you guys have something that you're repeatedly always texting or saying, or like, these are the links to pay for the credits in here, like just go into text replacement, and it's
Brilliant,
just
man.
just a simple tool. I just wanted to
Yeah.
talk about. But yeah, look, that is my process. I'll go back to the homepage so you
So
guys can
cool,
kind of
dude.
see my handle here. Look,
Love it.
it's, I did 40 million last year. Could be a lot to some of you, maybe not a lot to others, but it's honest work. I feel like I don't like really do things too repeatedly because my whole goal is to put the system in place to just rinse and repeat without having spent too much time on one simple thing that could be automated, whether it's, through utilizing your VA, through Zapier, through a CRM. I just don't want to spend too much time doing repeated things. Like, we do every loan process for all of our clients is pretty much the same. So if we can just automate this and, implement ways to just make it quicker and easier, I think that we can just handle more volume. And like I said, I'm not telling you that you should do this. It's just, hopefully, if you maybe gained a, 1 or 2 things to maybe implement in your business in the next 30 days, then here we are. So
Absolutely, man. Man, so many amazing. I love the texting. I hope everybody knows what that means. So you can put in one letter and have it spit out that whole paragraph. So you can do, and maybe it's got to be more than one letter, but like I see what you're saying there. So that's really cool.
Yeah, if you
That's
just type
awesome.
in text replacement in your settings, if you've
Hmm.
got an iPhone, it'll come up.
Yeah. Any questions for Kai? Kai, unbelievable how like you're systematizing this like on steroids, and you have the right people in place doing the right things and automations, and I can't imagine. I mean, you're looks like you're so ready for that refi because it's not if, it's when it happens.
Yep.
So like we drop 1%, and Yolanda, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Good morning, and thank you, Kai, for the time and for the wisdom you shared. So practical and a lot to learn. My
Thanks.
question is, how do you manage your leads? Because that is where I think I fall apart. I get a lot of leads, and before I know it, they're falling through the cracks because I'm working on, current transactions. I don't follow up. By the time I call them, like, well, I called you once and I didn't hear back. I went to somebody else. How do you manage that?
So I have this simple Google form, right? So every new lead I get, this needs to be completed. So it goes into one spot. Okay. And this is where all my leads go. I have it just zap in through Zapier. Zapier, I don't
Monday.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in into Monday. So I just have it all, like all of my leads are kept track in one spot. Um, it needs to happen like this. You need to have all of the upfront going into one area that you can keep track of. And all the information pulls over. So I just fill out this quick form, and it could be as simple or as complex as you want. If you go to, Google Drive and just type in forms, you can create this form, and it doesn't even need to go into your CRM. Just to get started, it'll just start a log in an Excel spreadsheet. And at least you can make notes for yourself. But um, I needed this. I can't rely on myself to keep track of who I connected with. So
So it's more
I
of a
hope that
triage.
answered your
It's yeah.
question.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more of a triage. Like if it's live, it's live. It's not, it's not. If it's credit repair, it's like, your team knows exactly. Yeah, and Google Forms are awesome. It's like it's 100% free, and it puts it into an Excel spreadsheet where you can then take it with Zapier and put it into any CRM. Like if it's any CRM at all, it'll let you put it into it. So pretty cool.
So through Zapier, it'll take whatever goes into the Google sheet, and it'll just create a path and add it to wherever you want it to go every time.
Very cool. Love it. Stephen Q says, once in the loan is in process, do you do pipeline meetings weekly? What does that process look like? You might have mentioned that.
Yep. So I do pipeline meetings Tuesday mornings at 9:30. But one of the takeaways that I got at this Go Coaching event a few weeks ago is I'm going to be doing like a 10-minute huddle every morning with my team now that the team has grown from, having my VA, LP1 and LP2. Um, I think it's necessary to just do a quick huddle. I'm open, I'm sort of figuring out what to cover in that huddle. I want to make it the same, share a win. What are we excited for today? What are we not? Just keep it quick and simple, but to just have everybody hop on, show face. My team is virtual, so I think it's important. But the pipeline meetings are, yeah, Tuesday mornings, 9:30. I don't like to do them on Mondays. I think people are playing catch up on Mondays, and yeah.
Awesome. And then do you have any way to communicate with your team, or is it just by text, email, Zoom? You guys have anything going there?
We do Slack.
So
You can
okay,
share
Slack.
files there.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Anything else for Kai? Unbelievable, man. Congratulations. I see no reason why you wouldn't hit 65 if you implement this. And you do any prospecting. I mean, you're doing it without prospecting. So I think with prospecting and setting the stage and setting the expectations for your realtor relationships, and showing them how all this works, I think would literally be a kind of a slam dunk. And I would just one suggestion is lean on the agents you already have in the offices that they're in with the other big producers to connect with, because you already have a warm relationship. Bounce and say, is there anybody else in your office that we can help out that you think would be a good fit? Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think, man, I just did this like 2 weeks ago. If anybody, the easiest way for all of us to go out and set a realtor appointment today is go to the agents that you already know and just simply ask them if they know any other agents who you think that you would jive with. And if you wouldn't, if you wouldn't mind either teeing me up, or can I drop your name and just let them know that, they highly recommended that I give you a call. The chances of that agent saying no to a coffee appointment or a Zoom appointment after their friend just teed them up, it's kind of
Right.
rude, right?
That's
So
very rude.
they'll take the appointment. And I went on 3 appointments 2 weeks ago, and they're already starting to refer me business just from
Love it.
my top agents who I asked that simple question to. Do you know anybody else who you think I would jive with? That's it.
Love it, dude. Love it. Raymond, you got a question?
I do. Hey, Kai, great presentation. Very thorough. Are
Thanks.
you, were you ever a part of the core?
I was not. No, I was part of the Freedom Club, and now I'm part of Go Coaching.
Okay, yeah, you use some of the similar terms.
Yeah.
As it relates to your outbound calls, how do you, when you sound pretty fearless about it, how do you get out of your own way and just make calls?
I just keep reminding myself that the first call is the hardest to make. Once you make that first call, everything is smooth sailing, right? Also, something to remind yourself is if you keep track of how many no's you get, that's going to be a better indicator on how many yeses you get, right? So, look, man, I think that's the call reluctance is a real thing, but once you get past that, you will really start to see leaps and bounds in this business. And I don't know, I get out of my way. It's tough to be super focused sometimes and just to start making that one call, but I love phone burner because that dialer just keeps going. You can't slack in between. Love phone burner for making outbound calls, whether it's a database, agents, you name it. But I'm not really making too many outbound calls to agents right now, other than my current partners and the people who are on the deals that I work with, and business is kind of naturally coming from that. But I am very in tune with my past database, making those Wednesday calls. I do that on Wednesday. And that's just as simple as touching base and seeing how people are doing.
Keeping the
Not even
warm
really
warm.
asking.
Keeping the
Yeah,
warm
I'm
hot. Yeah.
not even really asking for the business at this stage. I'm just staying top of mind with people who I know. I've got a big database, so yeah, I have a big sphere of my database is getting a lot of people buying houses who I went to college with at this
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
yeah, just staying in touch with people and social media. Ramping it up on social media. I do a podcast every month. Might sound expensive. It's $1,000 a month for me to show up with 2 30-minute time blocks and do a podcast with whoever I want to invite. And it's like 4K. If you guys go to my Instagram, it's like 4K quality. And my whole goal there is to collaborate with that agent or whoever I bring on and get all of their followers to see my content and follow me. I've gotten since I started doing this like 2 months ago, I've gotten like an extra 300 followers on my Instagram just because I've collaborated with other people on my posts. And it's not long form podcast content. They're just creating the reel and getting the snippets from like the golden nuggets that we pull out of it. Similar to like what Scott is doing. He'll, pull out snippets from the show and he'll post them. I don't know. People are too busy to listen to a full podcast if it's just, me, a hyper local mortgage broker and a local agent, right? But we just do it for the reels.
You want the last question and then we're gonna head out.
Yes, last question. And my question to you is there's so many things you can do. You talked about podcast, about calling, social media. But if there was only one thing that you could do that moves the needle the most for you, what would that one thing be?
Make outbound phone calls one way or another, regardless of who it's to. Just get top of mind with anybody. Get on the phone. Yeah, somebody dropped it in the chat.
With you, brother.
Get on the phone. Make as many outbound phone calls as you can.
And Scotty, you know what else is really impressive? Kai has done this over the last couple of years while, let's see, buying a new house that he's working on, getting married, having a baby, and I think he even had sold 1 or 2 of his cars and bought a couple more back. So this dude, he's
on his 5th rental, man. He's on his 5th rental.
And yeah, he's buying the rental properties, and oh my goodness, man, it's just it's fun watching these young guys, isn't it?
Kick butt, man. Kick butt, taking names. It's all about systems and getting on the phone. I mean, that's really putting the systems in place, putting the people in place, doing your superpower, which is communicate, engage, interact, stay visible. And that's so congratulations, man, on taking action on all that. I'm excited to watch your journey. And I think 65 is light for you, brother. I think you can do a little more than that.
Same.
That's a little push. All right, guys. Have an amazing
Thanks, guys.
day, amazing week. And we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Take care. Be
Talk
safe.
to you later. Bye.
Take care, bud. Thank you.
See you, Kai.